Hello, this is Bryony H., your accidental linguist. What I would like to talk about today is fucking. The word, of course, in terms of phonology. Phonology, for those who don't know, is the study of sound system in words, and this has to do with a lot of different things, but what we're going to focus on today is syllables and fuck. And sometimes, yes, when thinking about segmenting syllables, you might think fuck, but there are a lot of different ways in which the word fuck can be applied. One way is in terms of segmenting it into syllables. As we all know from elementary school, there are a couple of ways where you can hear it, fucking, or when your jaw drops, fucking. But there is also a system, a phonological principle, wherein you can derive how to fuck. One consideration, of course, is the fact that fucking is actually two different sets of meanings, and that would be morpheme, a little linguist term. The first one is fuck, and of course that has a variety of meanings. some are better than others, and the other one is ing, and that of course also implies some things which aren't always true. That is the progressive form, meaning ongoing, but we all know that sometimes that doesn't always happen. But anyway, okay, so how do you figure out how to go from fuck to fucking? And how many syllables that takes? So the first step that you have to take is to identify the nuclei in each syllable. The nuclei are going to be the center of the syllable, and they are always vowels, except for when they're not. But in our purposes, and for the purposes of this video, they are going to be vowels. So technically you would use the IPA. There would be an example on the bottom right there. You will use the U. You will take out the U, and you will take out the I. When we refer to them in linguistic form, it would be the and the E. So those are the nuclei. Now you also have to identify the onset, and the onset is just the beginning. And every system, every language in the entire world has an onset. There are a consonant onset, and there are no systems in the world that do not have a consonant onset. So we drop down the F, or the yes, you have to blow when fucking. We drop down the, and so we have FU, and that is the onset and nucleus of the first syllable. Now, this is where things get a little tricky when fucking. We have to figure out where to put it in. And of course, by where to put it in, I mean the K. We have two options. Some of you have three. We have two options of where to put it in. Do we put the K with the first syllable, or do we put it with the second syllable, the E? Here's the thing. This is where we refer to the maximum onset principle. In phonology, as we talked about briefly before, the consonants, and that's the onset. In phonology, with any language, there are allowable consonant clusters. And consonant clusters are just the consonants that can start, that can occur in a language. For example, it's why something like zrazvutie, or I know I pronounced that wrong, but it's something why that can occur in Russian and cannot occur in English. Like Tchaikovsky, however you say that. I know I'm mispronouncing this stuff, but it's okay because my name is Bryony. People mispronounce my name all the time, so it's okay. But anyway, Tchaikovsky, zrazvutie, like those consonant clusters are allowed to occur in Russian. They are not allowed to occur in English. And when you're dividing a word into a syllable, you are going to look at the allowable consonants that can occur together, that can start a word, and that is the maximum onset principle. So, the maximum onset principle basically dictates that Anyway, it basically dictates that when we are divvying up a word into syllables, we are going to, as long as that consonant can start a word in that language, as long as k or k can start a word in English, such as king, then it's going to go with the next syllable. In this case, the second syllable, because it can. So we have f, and that is our first syllable, and then we're going to put that k with the second syllable because we can. King. King. And then, just so you know, then you drop down the coda. The coda will be the last consonant that will, you know, end a syllable. Not all syllables have to have a coda. That's why it's okay for f to just be f and king to go, and the k to go with king. And that is how you get fu.king. And that is how you divvy up a word into syllables.
Follow all your commands, but there will be no talk of adding you to.
Of course, sometimes it's hard to hear with the K because when you pronounce fuck, it's unreleased. You know what I'm talking about?
No apologies, I'm into pornography.